Let me clear my throat.
You better put that in the podcast. Okay. I'm putting that in the beginning, just letting you know before you introduce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 182 of the Mug Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty!
This is the Mug Podcast game show.
Welcome! We're at the end of it. We want to kill ourselves because we live in the worst fucking place on the planet. Where we have the highest court in the land and everybody's corrupt. Welcome to America!
USA! 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 Okay. Hi. How are you?
Hey! I'm doing good. I'm like Shirley Temple on fucking crack, bitch.
You have to be to live in Florida. It's the only way to survive.
I'm going to tell you something so fucking funny because I told you I did a whole dance for Tina before she started.
So funny.
Because I'm a huge RuPaul Drag Race fan. I love drag. It's my favorite, one of my favorite art forms ever to exist. Drag is
beautiful.
It's fucking incredible, and it's so goddamn funny when it's done right. And there's a character, a drag queen right now named Jimbo on Drag Race All Stars, and they were originally on the like a Canada version of a Drag Race because they have them in different countries.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't familiar with Jimbo. And then they did the Snatch Game, which is it's like match game, but they impersonate celebrities. And Jimbo came on as Shirley fucking Temple. And it is the most psychotic, hilarious fucking thing I've ever seen. And when he starts tap dancing, I showed it last night and I started to pee my pants. I was floating and it was the wrong thing to do. To float and watch Jimbo do Shirley Temple. I fell off the bed laughing. I was laughing so fucking hard.
I love it.
Like this psychotic. Anyway, so my hair's curled now, and I was like, because last week I was not prepared for the podcast. So I've since dyed my hair pink, and I have been curling it to its life's end. You know what I mean? Anyway, that shit fucking made me laugh. Made me laugh.
Amazing.
And also, like, why would you want to ban something so fantastic like that? Like, why would you want to be against these motherfuckers getting up here and just being so crazy they just want to make us laugh. Like, they just want to make you feel something.
They're entertainers.
Yeah, come on.
Leave everybody alone.
Yeah, anyway, it's fucking funny. Well, so what do you got first? Go on.
Well, I mean, there were so many things this week. Do you want to start like Florida and then federal?
Sure.
Or federal and then...
Sure.
Florida. Okay, so Rick Scott gave that lovely socialist comment earlier this week that was, let me give you a travel warning, because everyone's doing these travel warnings, which now has resulted, I believe, the most recent group not to come. It was like the 50th conference for Black engineers, and it was supposed to bring in I think 11,000 people or more to the convention center in Orlando, which is a lot of revenue for hotels. They canceled it because of the climate here. And then a Game of Thrones convention, which is another 4,000 people.
Somebody told me about that. I'd like to go to that.
Right? They're not hosting that here. So this is a governor that is costing our state money. This is a senator that is costing our state money with stupid bullshit.
And I wonder even if they realize that. They probably well, fuck these drag people, or fuck these Game of Thrones, fuck these, who cares? I don't think that they ever really thought it out. It's when you're creating laws and policies just to be anti-woke, this is what happens, is that they don't realize, just like the lawmakers and the legislators that represent Miami-Dade and were at town halls being yelled at because of the immigration policies, they didn't really put two and two together, that these actually affect real people, businesses, tourism. My God.
Yeah. So his quote was, let me give you a travel warning. If you're socialist, communist, somebody that believes in big government, I would think twice if you're thinking about taking a vacation or moving to Florida. Big government, you guys are now the poster child for big government. They're so stupid.
Also, it never will stop amazing me that Rick Scott gets up and thinks he can be like, this is supposed to be some kind of jokey, funny fucking video, when he committed the largest fraud in Medicaid history.
I know.
And pled the fifth like 80 fucking times under oath. Oh my God. Because his company committed the largest fraud ever with health insurance with Medicaid. How dare you? How about you just bury your sand? But these motherfuckers, this is what makes the best politicians, is because they have no shame. They will show their face anywhere. They'll say anything. They should be hiding under rocks. If I was caught in this kind of scandal, I would never want to leave my house. I'd be so ashamed. They run for Congress. Yeah. They run for the Senate. He's a criminal.
They do not care about people. They only care about corporations and how to line their pockets. That's it.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that happened this week was DeSantis did this veto.
Okay.
And the veto was, it was a $5 million veto that he did, but that ended up triggering a loss for Floridians of over $346 million in federal fundings in rebate programs. So, for example, someone like me who maybe want to get some hurricane windows in, and there's a federal program like an energy efficiency program where you can get money back if you have the right appliances or the right grade window or blah, 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 blah. Yeah, bye. Now we don't get that. Floridians don't get that. It takes money out of our pockets because you're an asshole. It's well, crazy. They don't want.
Is it something to do with like the state shouldn't be taking federal money?
It's
you know what I mean? Like he wants to be like an independent. Like we shouldn't be giving money to states. That's and again, when you do things like this, I don't know if.
But then you cut our revenue.
Governor DeSantis coming in. Governor DeSantis, I need to send you a message really quick. The shit you do affects real people.
Yeah.
The bills you sign, the things you veto, the laws you propose, all of this affects human beings. I know that you're like this fucking weird robot, but we're all real people living in this world who are affected by the bullshit you're doing, you fucking asshole. I mean, my God, it's like he's got blinders on and he's got one fucking goal in mind. Well, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to get there and fuck everybody else. And if he's doing it to us, imagine what he's gonna do to the rest of you.
Well, he's already said he's gonna get rid of birthright.
Yeah.
Right, he made that big
and then also, by the way, because then I read an article in 1917, his grandparents came over here from Italy.
Yeah.
Undocumented. And here we are 100 years later or something.
Yeah.
And he wants to get rid of
hypocrite.
anchor. He calls them anchor babies. He wants to get rid of that. It's so all gross. And it's kind of reminds me, I mean, I want to talk about one more thing in Florida, but it reminds me of fucking Clarence Thomas.
Oh,
whose
we'll get to that.
Entire career you can see has been because of affirmative action, these laws that were in place so that he'd be recognized as a fully formed human being when he's applying for jobs and school. College. He completely benefited 100% from those things, but then he's like, everybody else can now go fuck themselves.
Right, but let's not forget, legacy admissions were not impacted by that ruling, and they didn't end affirmative action for the military, right? It's such hypocrisy. It's such bullshit.
Yeah. Move this away from your... You don't need to have it that close. No, just move this back a little bit. There you go. Okay. I left that for you. I left the, I was like, Tina will know what to say about this affirmative action bit. And then also DeSantis, when he's on the campaign trail, he put out his immigration plan, like you just mentioned. He now said he's going to get rid of the IRS. He said he's going to get rid of the Department of Education. This is what he's doing in Florida, by the way. I mean, we don't have the IRS, but he's trying to get rid of the Department of Education here. He's trying to minimize everything that they do.
And the Department of Energy, which, P.S., Mr. Military, that's where, who controls our, nukes. So, what?
Well,
what?
He can take that job on, I guess.
Isn't he a military guy? Isn't he?
Yes. He tortured people in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Wow. You're an analyst, too.
Anyway. So, SCOTUS. This is the time of year when all these opinions start to come out and you're like, oh, that's right. Latest? We live in this fucking horrible, where this bullshit happens, where you have lifetime appointees. This is what happens when you don't go out and vote and Trump wins. A game show host with the brain the size of a fucking pea, who takes advice from people who give him money, and allowed, what was it, that group that picked these gave him the list of who he should pick, and then he picks some of the most conservative judges who will sit there. They're young. They're gonna be there forever. They'll be there forever. This will affect the rest of our lives. You know, the rest of our lives will be affected by these laws. Until something can be overturned. But these are real things that happen. So,
well, the latest ruling of the gay marriage with this woman, to me, is incredibly frightening, because all of it was based on a what if scenario. What if I had a website company, and what if a gay couple wanted to have a wedding announcement? You know, I shouldn't have to, it goes against my beliefs, or XYZ, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And it got thrown out of the lower court, because guess what? You can't base a court case on what if hypotheticals, right? So then suddenly there's this gay couple that wants a wedding invitation, and that now is turning out to be bullshit. That there is no gay couple, that the person that they found who had the name that she was saying had asked her for this wedding invitation of a website company she doesn't yet have, is like a heterosexual guy married. And he's like, I don't understand why my name is involved. And they still ruled on the case, saying that she has the right to say no. So now, why did they do that, right? Because they wanted precedent. They want precedent.
They're looking
and they're
for these
now
cases.
making shit up so that they can have precedent from the court.
Right.
And they think everybody's stupid.
And I believe thousands of cases are put, applied in front of the Supreme Court every year. They handpick these things. These are the ones that they're choosing to, to rule on.
I was blown away by that.
But again,
it's not real. None of it's real. She doesn't even have a goddamn company.
I'll say this. I'm sure this is a thing, but I hope somewhere someone is keeping a list of all of the cases that happen every single year, as more and more things are coming out about these judges, these Supreme Court justices, because these cases should be thrown out.
They should be.
And we should have a new court, because these folks are criminals. They are breaking the law. They're morally corrupt, and they need to be held accountable. And Congress is failing us by not doing that. And to think that we would need a full Democratic Congress to actually take some sort of action here
is crazy.
And
it's
knowing
crazy.
Dems and knowing how we roll, that ain't gonna happen for a long time. Roe was fucking overturned last year. After that, what the fuck? I don't know. I keep thinking about that 2016 election and how fucking important it was, and how people were like, Hillary, Clinton, I don't know.
Yeah, I just, she's not warm and fuzzy enough for me. Well,
when she raises her voice, it feels like my mom's yelling at me.
Yeah.
Your mom didn't yell at you enough if you didn't fucking vote, you stupid fuck.
I know. I mean, I really do. I blame all the people who didn't think that this would happen, or that it wouldn't be that big a deal.
Yeah.
It's on your heads, because I went out and voted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then proceeded to give years of our lives to organizations and groups and trying to make a difference. Stepping back recently, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'll speak for myself. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I feel like I did all of this work and gave so much of my time, took so much of my time that I can never get back from my children. Took time away from them. I have to say, I think it contributed to the end of my marriage because I wasn't fucking here. And he kept saying, you're not here like 2-3 nights a week. And I was so sure that I was doing what was best for people. We need to change this place. Yeah. We need to put the time in. And if we just get a few more people, we can really make a difference. And here we are. And it didn't, I'm sorry to say, I can't speak for everybody else that I worked with, but for me, I don't see what the fuck I did that made any fucking difference. I don't see a goddamn fucking thing. And so I can't give more of my time. I've now been out twice to do the abortion petitions, possibly tomorrow going again. Every place I go, they've already signed it. So I don't know where we're going under rocks to find more people, but we need these fucking petitions signed. And then when it goes to the legislature and it goes on the ballot and it passes and then it goes to the legislature and they tear that motherfucker apart, I'm again going to look back at this year and say, what the fuck was I doing? You know, it's really fucking wholly disappointing. And we go to these events and you hear these speeches and people are fired up and they're ready to go. And then I wonder what happens after that. What happens? And it wears people out. It wears you out. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
So, you know, but
we're up against, I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because we're up against down here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I was out the other day and it looks blurry. But I was out the other day and happened to just sit next to a group of MAGA Republicans who were planning to go door knocking
in Broward
County with these little door hangers, and they're not canvassing for a particular candidate. They are canvassing to get people registered as Republicans.
Right.
They're out there.
It's an off year, so it's not an election year. So what are they doing?
They're recruiting. Yeah. They are out there.
This is the Republican Party of Broward County.
Yeah.
And read what the information they're giving.
So on the back, how to become a Republican. There's never been a better time to make the switch. So again, they're not targeting their own.
Right. They're not going after Republicans.
No, they are coming after NPAs and Democrats. Yeah. That's what they're doing.
Probably NPAs, which is, by the way, so fucking smart.
And it's a large group.
It is organized. They're smart. Yep. That was on a weeknight. I mean,
steps. It was it's in the middle of the week. It's like a Thursday.
And how old was the girl, do you think, that had that?
I thought she was young. I thought she was young, but she clearly is registered to vote because she...
Fine, so let's say she's in her early 20s or something.
She's in her 20s, and it was so, to me, disgusting to see a young woman with a stack of these door hangers, and she was the one organizing. She was leading.
Yeah. She
was leading the meeting to get, because she's the precinct captain, to get people to knock doors in East Broward.
This is an incredible...
In Pompano.
I got to tell you, this is an incredible door hanger. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's detailed.
How to register.
It's minimal.
How to change your voter registration, and then also it's how to do vote by mail. It's got a QR code on there, so you can do everything on your phone. There's a QR code here.
And the steps on the back.
Yeah.
Again, it says if you have never registered, you'll register Republican, and then you have to click the box change if you're going to change it. Now, the only other thing that someone had said to me was that did they have
the forms?
The forms, and I did not see the forms because I do not believe you can have the forms and this because you can't do that. So I did not see the forms, but if they did have the forms, then that would be, of course.
But what this tells me,
they are working.
They're organized. They're strategic, and they're putting in the work. And now I don't. Now you would know more than I would, but does the Broward Democratic Party doing this right now?
I don't believe so.
No.
I could be wrong though.
Tina, but they can't put a budget out. You think they're going to design a door hanger like this, and you think they're going to go around neighborhoods? I mean, they're not doing it.
And hit MPAs and get them to switch?
Smart. MPAs is very smart. Yeah. Very, very smart.
And I'm telling you, I bet you're going to Dem doors too.
And that's probably true, but also I would say this if I was a Democrat. Yes, on the back I would say how you can do your thing, and the front I would say, here's all the things the last 20 years even, has been, how are you doing? Because the last 20 years in Florida has been under Republican control, and here's the things that they did this last session.
And here's all the things that are gone.
And I don't
property
mean,
tax.
I don't, yeah,
money,
that's right.
Money.
Yes, I was going to say, I don't mean 6-week abortion ban.
Yeah.
I mean, here's how your shit is about to get fucked.
Yep.
Because of the Republicans.
Yep.
But the party here sits around with their dick in their fucking hands. All right. Here's something local that I think is really important and needs to be talked about, and I'm fucking pissed about it. Because yesterday on the front page of the fucking Sun Sentinel was a picture of Scott Peterson, Deputy Scott Peterson, who was like this. He was so fucking happy. This motherfucker... This motherfucker sat outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. After 2 minutes, the shooting had started. In 2 minutes, he was sitting out there. So he could have gone in.
He didn't go in.
Could have gone in. He stood out there and fucking hid. He hid.
Coward.
And they brought him up on charges.
That was his only job.
Yep. Had a gun.
To protect.
The good guy with the gun sat outside like a little punk ass bitch and didn't do a fucking thing to go in there because he was this close to retirement. Why am I going to risk my life? Fuck them kids,
children.
Right? But fuck those kids, right?
Children.
You fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. So they bring him up on charges. Not guilty. These families have had zero justice.
Yeah, no.
Zero.
Nothing. It's shameful.
We live in a fucking crazy world, y'all. It's crazy. Could you imagine somebody you know and love in a school gets killed and the fucking cop
is hiding
doesn't do anything?
How many people could he have saved if he even went in? I mean, maybe you're risking your life, but isn't that what you sign up for when you become a police officer?
Chris Hickson, who Debbie Hickson's beloved husband, Chris Hickson, who was a coach there, you know, at the high school, worked there for years and years, ran into the building.
Ran inside.
And when I interviewed her for Women's March all those years ago, and she said to me, when I heard that there was a shooting, I knew that Chris was going to be involved. Because she knew the type of person he was, that he was going to go in and try to help and get kids out, right? Oh, and that's what he fucking did. He ran into the building and he was killed. He was killed that day. He's the hero.
Yeah.
That man's never coming home to his family. But this fucking piece of shit cop, protect and serve, sat outside with his fucking dick in his hand.
Yep.
You piece of shit.
It's shameful.
You better live with this horror in your head for the rest of your fucking life.
He's celebrating.
Yeah, the picture on the front page, I wanted to kill some.
I saw
red. I couldn't believe it. You better humble yourself, you fucking motherfucker.
You better just move somewhere else.
Like, how are you not sitting there going, like, with your face in your hands? Like, cover your face. Don't show joy. Those families will never see joy again. Ever. It's fucking amazing to me how we have these sort of horrendous mass shootings and then there's no justice at the end of it. Usually the person's killed, right? Or whatever. But now we don't get the death penalty for this piece of shit. And then also the cop, he's basically the Uvalde fucking cops. The same thing. They didn't go in and save these babies. Ugh, you know what? You'll fuck yourself. Here's something else I want to say. You know, on the Broward County School Board, we got 3 people who are Republicans. They're nonpartisan seats, but we all know who DeSantis placed and then who was elected. So we get this new superintendent.
Yeah.
The school system is fucking chaotic at best, right? It's a fucking mess. And the school board, it comes from the top down. The school board is fucking messy as fuck. And it's public. So y'all really need to get your shit together. You gotta get it together, okay? And so you would think that if you're elected to this position or you're placed in this position by DeSantis, you would want to do your job and do what's best for the teachers and the students and the families who send their kids to these schools.
What are you, crazy?
They are obstructionists, these 3. They are massive fucking wastes of time. They had a meeting this week. A couple of the board members were out of town for summer vacations, like out of the country. Yeah. But managed to get on the phone for this board meeting, even though there was a quorum that had to be physically present.
Yeah, well, they had decided that they had to be physical at the last meeting.
Yeah. And so because of that, there was 3, I think 2 or 3 board members that actually showed. Yeah, 3. Holness, Leonardi, and Zeman all showed up to the board meeting. The 2 of these board members were out of town, were on the phone. Yeah. And then the 3 Republicans either didn't let anybody know or let somebody know the night before that they weren't going to be there. And the meeting was to sign off on the contract for the new superintendent. Yeah. And because it wasn't who they wanted,
they no-showed.
Can you imagine all that they're doing?
Spoiled assholes.
Yeah. All you're doing is slowing down, moving forward, and progress in the county, which should be part of like what you want. We are now in the summer. There's nobody at the schools. I mean, there's summer school, whatever. But this is the time for him to come in and do his job. Yeah. Also, part of the thing was like he wants to stay living in Boynton And I got to tell you,
Well,
I want him in Broward County.
No, he needs to be
I don't know why we negotiated this part, but if he's not invested in Broward County by living here, I do have an issue with this. And his money, he's getting paid a shit ton of money. Get the fuck to Broward County, okay? That bothers me. Yeah, because he's from Palm Beach. He was
but I mean, God, if you're gonna at least Boca something, like get a little closer.
Get to Broward.
Yeah.
Move over the county line. This is not okay that you are not living in Broward County. For me, now if they don't think that's a big deal, that's fine. Also, he wants a super majority to get rid of him, which is funny too. And
well, but that makes sense.
$360,000 a year.
But the overturn, you know what I mean? Because then it's just like, then what are we going to do every year to keep changing out superintendents? We don't have time.
Yeah.
But if their whole plan is to have Broward schools implode.
Yeah, which is what it is. They want to make it look shitty, and they're going to give this guy a hard time. And if you... Oh, God, I hope he's got a fucking constitution to handle this shit, because they're already starting with their petty bullshit. And they put the article out, and they did mention that they were Republicans, but I retweeted it, and I'm like, let's be clear. It is the Republicans who are doing this. Yeah. They're slowing it down. Don't say, oh, the board didn't show up. That's not what the fucking case is. They're pulling fucking shenanigans. They're pulling shenanigans. And we need this guy to start working. We have no superintendent.
And, again, like, with... ethics rules and things like that. Is there nothing in place that says if you are this elected position, you have to show up to X number of meetings, or you can't cancel? You know, unless there's an emergency, you can't cancel at the last minute. Like there's also, I don't understand.
It's so also, you know, if you don't like a policy, if you don't like a way something was done, those are the ways that you handle it. But you show up and you do your job. And not to show. It just is so fucking
petty.
It's just fucking wrong. It's just so wrong. You show up. The guy clearly got the votes that he needed. It's out of your hands. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a fucking asshole. I cannot fucking stand, because it's the rest of us that suffer for it. We want our schools to be good. We want people to not take their voucher money and put their kids into a private school, right? That's what we want. And if somebody's like, maybe I will send my kid to the public school, and then they're looking at this fucking horse shit, I mean, why would somebody want to do that? You're just making the whole thing look bad. And if that's the case, then don't be a Broward County school board member. Then just fucking leave. If your whole thing is just to have shenanigans, stop wasting our fucking time. Because we have kids here. It's important.
So, please. But guess what? All those private schools now, a lot of them are raising their tuition.
Oh, good. I have one last thing. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay, my last thing is that The Bear season 2. Have you been watching it?
I'm done.
You are?
Yeah.
Ooh, spoilers. If you have not watched season 2.
So,
holy shit. How much are you... do you love it?
I love it, but I got to tell you, my favorite thing about all of it is, you know, I watched season 1.
Yeah.
And my husband was like, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I'm going to put season 2 of The Bear on. And I said, you know, we could go back to season 1. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. No. So then I'm watching it, and the next thing you know, boom, invested. Boom, I come home, and he goes, well, I went back to season 1. Get all the backstory.
Oh, my God.
And I forgot how good season 1 was.
This season opened up more... I have to tell you, I love television.
I love Richie.
I love Richie. But I love TV so much, and it's because of shows like this. They give you this point of view of these characters that you're rooting for every single one of them. The mother, Donna, is out of her fucking mind, which, by the way...
How about brilliant acting?
Jamie Lee Curtis
like, role of her genius. Life right here.
You know,
so good.
She shared a message when she's like, oh, well, the news is out, you know, when it came out. And she said she was watching season 1 of The Bear, and they had mentioned the mother, like, briefly. And she said, when I was watching it, I heard that. She said, I knew I was going to be playing her. I knew I was going to play this role.
Wow. Goosebumps. I just got goosebumps too.
She is so fucking good in this.
So,
and like, also, like, I've read a lot of articles too, which I don't know if you can relate to this, but that episode,
wow.
My Christmases weren't as crazy as that, but there was so many similarities to parts of things that were happening in that. I had to keep pausing it. It was so intense. the chaos that they can create on this show.
Yes.
Is so fucking intense.
I love about it because it's all of everyone's talking. Everything's overlapping. There's such a authenticness to that, which I like. My husband and I have been having discussions about it, and he has like an interesting take where he does not like the idea, I guess, of, because I'm like, well, it's the art, it's about the creating of the food, and he's like, yeah, but it's for a bunch of bougie ass rich people, and he's like, and you know, back in season 1 with Richie, what about the teachers? What about the firefighters? What about the regular people that come to this place? They're gonna be out. And he's like, and he's like, and it's all about serving and like giving yourself to a bunch of rich assholes. And he's like, that's the thing. And he's like, I don't know if I like that. I see what he's talking about. The one waiter who's like, I just want to serve. And I just want to give. And he's like, oh, so that's what we do. We that the idea of serving and just to giving to these rich people, like that's fulfilling. Like he's like, bullshit capitalism. Like, and you know, that was his take on it. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting take. That I didn't think about, because I'm looking at it from like their passion of like wanting to create and like make this thing and working together. And I don't know. So I
didn't think of it that way either at all. And so I don't know if their restaurant's going to be like that. I don't know if their restaurant's going to be like the one that Richie went to.
Yeah, that's
it seems more bougie. Open and like I don't think it'll be like that.
And that cannoli, I'm like, ooh, savory cannoli.
How much do you love Marcus?
Oh my god!
Over the trip. I mean,
all of it. Tina.
No, everybody. Listen to me. I'm rooting for this entire fucking crew. It's a band of fucking misfits that love each other so goddamn much and have this like goal together. It was so inspirational and like loving and caring in the weirdest like backwards kind of ways.
Yeah, no,
Claire Bear, my god. When they finally kiss, I'm literally watching screaming kiss, and then she leaves him that message at the end, and I was like, God. Say I love you, say I love you, say I love you, and she says I love you, and he throws the phone. I was like, he doesn't know what to do with all of this.
No.
He doesn't know what to do. He's a broken little baby.
I know.
He's a broken baby, and he doesn't understand how to deal with it all.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, I can't have this and this.
Right,
and
right.
He's in that freezer freaking the fuck out, not realizing how great it all is going.
Yeah.
Because he can't see and he's not involved and he's working himself. It's so good.
And Sydney and her dad and oh my god.
Claire Bear reminds me of a friend, like my, I guess, lifelong best friend, reminds me of her. Like mannerisms.
Really?
There's something about the way she looks, the way that she smiles. My friend April. And I'm like, oh my god, this is April. Like there's things about her that just remind me. So watching it, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm looking at April. There's just that vibe about it. So.
Well,
I like
bravo. Her. It's I gotta tell you, it is it's storytelling that we need. It's about mental health. It's about sacrifice. It's about family dysfunction and how that follows us for the rest of our fucking lives. And having to, like, he's in this therapy group. He's trying to work through it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God,
trying to get through all of that.
The scene I like too is oh my God, the sister, the pregnant sister.
Yeah.
Her name is escaping. Tiff.
No, that's the wife. The sister is Sugar.
Yeah. The husband crying at the table.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I love this
Even
guy.
when he came in with the 7 fishes that day with the tuna casserole, and they throw it out the door. I told you not to do this.
They're like, don't you understand?
Yeah, don't you know?
And he's
that
like,
table seat with the forks, the table seat with the forks. By the way, John Barenthal plays the older brother Mikey, who's dead. Oh, but in the throwback episode, he's there.
He's so good.
Everybody at the I'm gonna start to cry. Every single person in the show is incredible actor. Like,
so good.
They all understood the assignment. Do you know what I mean? They showed up and they created this chaotic fucking mess that you're just like, You're like this the whole time watching it. It's so tense.
Waiting for that fork. Oh, Jesus.
When he threw that fucking fork. What about when she drove the car through the fucking house?
Oh, that was the best.
And he was staring at that spoon in the fucking thing. And then thank God with the cousin who's like, come with me to come to New York. Come to New York.
Oh, cousin.
But it's also about taking those turns, right? Like your life is going this way, and that cousin who said to him, told him, come with me, was like insisting to pull him out. She saw that he needed to change directions, or that was going to be his life. Right? Yeah. Working at the sandwich shop with his brother. So she knew he was talented and he needed the push to change his life, and that's what he did. And then with his brother dying, coming back, his life shifted again. And it's Richie with the moves, and Tina with the moves, and the mother coming to show up, but not going in. It's the whole fucking thing. The chocolate banana. The chocolate fucking banana.
Oh my God, that was my favorite.
I said to Simon, it's a fucking chocolate banana. And he goes, I don't remember. I go, the fucking oh my God, it was fucking incredible.
No, it was beautiful.
That chocolate banana. Yeah, Richie.
I love Richie.
He's and now with the last fucking scene, I go, oh my God, I swear to God, he better not take that to heart. What he's yelling, calling him a loser. I'm like, he better not. He better stay on the same fucking path that he's been on.
I don't know. I'm so nervous for next season.
Oh my God. But I have to tell
I
you,
love how it ended. I love how it ended.
And also
because you're like, oh, it's going to be the feel-good ending that you want, and it's not.
It's not. It changes. Yes. But also, so the guy who created and wrote the show and directed, his name's Christopher Storer. I looked him up because the music to me is fucking
I was like
brilliant.
I'm Shazamming.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, save.
By the way, go to Spotify. There's a Spotify playlist.
Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder was in there.
Pearl Jam, R.E.M.
But Eddie Vedder and other singers.
Yes. And even the soul music that's in there, and the throwback Christmas music, and I was like, this guy is our age. Yeah. Like, whoever did this music is our age. And I looked it up, and he's 42, almost 43, and he's grew up right outside Chicago, sat at a Mr. Beef and wrote these things and knew the owner. Like,
God, I'm like,
he grew up in a family just like Carmi, where he had alcoholics. Carmi. He goes to Al-Anon all the time. Blah blah blah. He's a genius. This guy's a fucking genius. And anyway, you can go to Spotify and they have like the Bear season 2 soundtrack that somebody put together, and every song that appears in order
I saw you post
on the show is on there. And so I've been like listening to that. I cannot, and I don't
top to bottom. It's good, because you never know with the second season. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know, because the first season ended and you're so sort of joyous of like the potential.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about this show that you already mentioned is sort of like the reality of it. Yeah. Is like, it's not that easy. Like, yes, they got all this money, but it's not enough money.
Yeah, they need more.
What I mean? It's a lot of money. And then they're coming out of COVID and restaurants, like
the closing of
it addresses like so many things, and the tension and it's good. And the thing I like about it too is like, that is the reality sometimes, is like, sometimes like you say mean shit to people, but you still love them. But like, you know what I mean? And I think that's what this is, this group, man.
And there's just so much hurt and there's so much pain underneath all of it. And even like when you said the restaurant's closing, like when Sydney, that episode where Sydney went from like all over Chicago and was like eating food everywhere, and she went and talked to that black chef, that woman, and then she went to the restaurant and it closed, and they flashed to her face. I even felt bad then. Yeah. Like, that's how invested you are with a less than 30, like maybe 30-second conversation with the chef. You find out her restaurant closes, and you're just like, fuck.
Reality of it.
Yeah,
like,
but this, I don't.
And I love Sydney. Like,
and every guest star, Robert Townsend, who plays Sydney's dad. I saw his face, and I'm like, this motherfucker. I love that guy. I mean, there's just
the guy who plays the uncle is doing so good in this role.
Let me tell you something. I love this fucking guy. When he's
so funny.
When he's like, I've seen Claire Bear, and he goes, well,
yeah.
Right? Like that, to me, I was like, oh God.
That's what messed him up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said, totally.
When that happened, I go, I said, I go, now he's going to want to break up with her.
But then you saw it, though. He went out to bring her that tea or whatever it was to pour it over, and the fucking everything started to unravel in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What about Marcus and Sydney? Do you ship them?
I want them to get together. She's got to relax a little bit. She's got to relax.
She can't be happy. And he's
so uptight.
He's a giant baby teddy bear, and I just love him.
He's adorable.
He's adorable, and he's another genius. He's another genius. Also, did you see his phone? That he had missed all those calls about his mother. I can't.
Because it's like the things that you give up, you know, like because you want the thing for yourself. You want the thing for yourself, but then there's all the collateral damage. Sometimes, like you can't split yourself up and be everywhere, you know. Because if he would have stayed there, then he's out of this opportunity. You know, it's
and the sacrifice that a lot of people who work in this business and that business make to be able to do it because they love it. Right. They sacrifice a lot, and you know,
I don't want it to be like too bougie where the everyday person
I don't
go
know.
In there.
Yeah, I hear you. That would be disappointing, but I just don't know if that would be the case here. Like I don't know if that. I don't think it'll be like that other place. Also, Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman played that Chef Terry at the restaurant. Like I saw her with the mushrooms, and I was like, "Fucking Olivia Colman's here! What the fuck is going on?"
Good. The thing too that I loved was, and you already said spoilers, so they could fast forward.
You have to go through all of it because I'm sorry, but we're talking about it.
But when things are like blowing up, because Sydney was so slow with
what is she doing?
How many? You know, when she's trying to be on that line, and then Richie's like, "I can do it," and I'm like, "Please, just let him do it. Please, let
yes,
Richie do it. Please let Richie do it." And then he was like, "Please let me," and he rocked that shit.
So good.
Like, and I think. You know, Carmi needed to trust in them. Or they could have, through the goddamn door, said, hey, we did. I mean, I know they kind of did, but, like, they could have been updating him, like, things are going well, like, so he doesn't have that complete mental break.
But that's what happens when he stops.
He spirals,
when he stops and in his head everything starts moving, this is what happens. All of these things come up. I mean, he's a human being. I really, you know, Richie I love so much too because I think everybody at some point in their life is like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Who am I? This is what I've done with my life. What the fuck? What about the girl? What about his ex-wife getting engaged? Did you see he's still wearing that fucking wedding ring? Oy vey!
My favorite
was I can't fucking take it.
I wear suits now. I'm like, bitch, she's so cute.
He's such a beautiful baby.
So cute.
Such a sensitive.
I know.
And I did not like him in the first season. I was like, this motherfucker. At the end, I liked him, but I was like, this is how he deals with shit. He's abrasive. Don't call mom. Yeah. That shit was so fucking fact.
Oh my god.
You know fact. That guy's a really famous chef.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, I love him. I love fact.
Is so good.
Yeah. I'm gonna call mom. So fucking I can't. If you're not watching The Bear, you are missing the fuck out. You're missing out.
Missing.
And this was the conversation I needed. I will be cutting this up and putting it somewhere so that people can go listen to it.
Yes.
I fucking love it.
So good. Okay, are you ready?
Oh yeah, we're doing a podcast about politics. I forgot about that.
This is a little short and sweet, you know.
Oh, good.
Okay. So, today, I'm going to tell you the story of former Clayton County, Georgia Sheriff Victor Hill.
Okay.
Sheriff Victor Hill was once seen as a pillar of justice, but his career took an unexpected turn when he violated the civil rights of inmates.
Oh, God.
So our story takes place in Clayton County, Georgia, around 2021.
I might know the story.
You might know it.
It might be on my list.
Yeah, this is like a short little thing. So the thing that I always love about these stories is like when you kind of find out little things about them here and there before they do the thing. There's always like these little early warning signs that this guy may not be
I know this. He's definitely on my list. I definitely read these articles. It's a crazy story. It's crazy.
Okay, so basically so I wanted to share his origin story because I found this article that was about him before sort of all this stuff kind of came out.
Okay.
And so aside from his mother and grandmother instilling a love for the police when he was 14 years old, according to this article from Atlanta Magazine, Hill's friend, when they were around 14, was sexually assaulted, mutilated, and strangled in the woods near where he lived.
Oh my God.
And that was Charleston at the time. And so, like, the killer, according to the article, was caught, and he said during that interview that, quote, even though I'd always wanted to be a policeman, I think that's when Victor Hill was born. So, like, he grew up always wanting to be a cop, and this thing happened to his friend, and he's just, like, it kind of, like, made him, like, want to do this. It was, I mean, what a terrible experience. So, according to CNN, Hill's first election, he is elected in 2004 as sheriff. Then he lost his re-election in 2008. Then he won again in 2012, and he retained his spot, winning each re-election until his last election in 2020. And then CNN also reported that apparently activists and others have been alleging that he has been abusing his power since taking office. And the article noted that when he took office, the first thing he did was fire 27 deputies. And he had those deputies escorted out with snipers outside the building pointing at them as they were getting walked out of the building.
Why is so intense?
Very dramatic. The guy's very dramatic, right? And an article in the Atlanta magazine noted that those deputies happened to support the outgoing sheriff in the elections.
Oh boy.
So possibly this is a sort of like vindictive kind of, you didn't support me.
DeSantis.
Now you got, that's what I put. I go kind of like DeSantis. That's what I put in my notes. Like vindictive, like you don't support me, you're out. And guess what? Like you're an elected official. There's going to be people
you have to work with
that you have to work with that may not have supported, especially in positions like a sheriff.
Yeah.
You know, like they may like the person that was their boss at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
And it's political. It's always political.
People don't realize, I think, like how political all of this stuff is. The Atlanta magazine article also noted that when he took office, he started what he called a boot camp policy. So basically, he expected crazy ass things. Like, so when Hill would enter a jail, right, and an inmate saw him, the inmate would have to immediately run to a wall, face the wall, and put his hands behind his back. And if he didn't do that, or if the inmate didn't follow some other sort of rule, the inmate could lose privileges like TV time, phone calls, and things like that. So it's like he shows up, you run immediately, head forward. Like, it's weird, I think, right? I mean, like, I get it, you're in prison, but at the same time, like, you're not, like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You know? And then he would also call the jail my jail. Like, this is my jail. We do this in my jail, and everything's like his way, and it's the county's jail. Right? It's not your jail. That's the county's jail.
Yeah.
So, again, prior to this, in 2012, he faced charges. He was accused of using his office for personal gain, and there was a whole trial.
Oh my God.
He's found not guilty. So, and then
this is it, balls to the wall.
And they keep electing him. They keep electing him.
Yeah.
And then this was a crazy little thing too. CNN reported that in 2015, Hill shot and wounded his friend in an accidental shooting. So he went to go meet a real estate friend at like a house, and somehow or other, like this person got like severely wounded in a shooting with Hill. And Hill was charged with, quote, misdemeanor reckless conduct. And he still remained the sheriff at the time while they were investigating this.
What
right?
the fuck?
Yeah. The DA I thought this was interesting. The DA at the time, Danny Porter, stated, quote, you have the mitigating factors of he has no prior criminal record, the victim is not demanding jail time. You have those factors that argue against confinement. So they're definitely, because the DA and the sheriff, obviously, they're working together a lot.
Right.
So they're clearly like on his side. Like if this was Joe Schmo in some like, you know, misdemeanor shooting incident, would they have been as lenient? Would they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's clear. He also noted that DA, quote, the offense itself doesn't disqualify him from holding office. So I don't really feel comfortable trying to demand something about his office for an offense that wouldn't remove him from office if he went to a jury trial and was convicted. I mean, are we enabling people here or what?
But this is, I mean, if there is ever a pattern on this podcast, and we've talked about it, I think 3 weeks in a row now, it is letting these guys run rampant
and do whatever they
want, and they get caught, and they're like, well, thanks, that mother is it.
Yeah.
And it's this pattern of like abuse and neglect,
and somehow, just because you're elected,
negligent behavior. And
you get a pass.
Yeah.
It's weird. So
and then all of a sudden
run for office just so we can get a pass for all the bad things we may do one day.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's so eventually it gets worse and worse and worse, and then finally there's this huge thing, and it becomes a major problem. And you're like, well, let's all point to the timeline of like shit that you didn't vote. So yeah, run for office for that, but then also run for office because I just read it in the paper this morning that Ron DeSantis is now a millionaire because of a new book deal that he made. So that's another thing, is you get away with shit, and then also you can make so much fucking money.
Sure is doing this.
Oh please, they love this. They love his fucking doughy ass.
Another article I found from the Florida Times-Union noted that at the time of the shooting, the victim, McCord, who was shot in the abdomen.
Come on.
Really...
You're doing this.
Yeah.
It's not accidental. It hits his foot. You're pointing it at the motherfucker. How is that an accident?
I mean, that I don't know.
Come on,
but
man.
At the time, McCord couldn't give information on what happened because, she was shot.
Oh,
and
my
Hill,
God.
at the time, refused to tell investigators anything. But at the end of the day, the Gwinnett Daily Post reported that he pled no contest and he was sentenced to 12 months probation and a $1,000 fine. Again, he still remained sheriff.
Must be nice.
All right,
must be nice.
The major incident, and they're all pretty much the same. He was accused of violating the civil rights of 6 pretrial detainees, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Northern District of Georgia's press release. And upon his indictment, then Georgia Governor Brian Kemp suspended Hill.
Another fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, but he suspended him.
Okay.
All right, so the victims. So in the documentation, the victims are only referred to by their initials only and, not their full names. So RP in December 2019, according to the press release, RP was arrested for aggravated assault and possession of a weapon as a convicted felon. At the holding cell, RP and others heard, quote, "Sheriff on deck," because that's what they would, have to say, and that's when people would have to run to the walls and whatnot.
Oh, my God.
But Hill and a sheriff's response team took RP in for questioning. But this is what they did to all of them. Strapped him to a chair, wheeled him to a medical unit. The guy's hands start swelling. He peed himself. His wrist was cut and scarred. And they left him there for hours, right? And then in February of 2020, DB was detained for marijuana and allegedly for having stolen firearms in his home. When he arrived at the jail, he was strapped into a chair just like RP. He spent 7 hours in a chair. Both his wrists were cut and scarred as a result.
Jesus.
JA, again in February 2020, was booked for assaulting 2 women during a confrontation at a grocery store. During a conversation with Hill, JA asked if he would get a fair and speedy trial a few times, and Hill replied, "You're entitled to sit in this chair, and you're entitled to get the hell out of my county and don't come back. That's what you're entitled to. You sound like a damn jackass. Don't you ever put your hand on a woman like that again. You're fortunate that wasn't my mother or my grandmama, or you wouldn't be standing there. Now sit there and see if you can get some damn sense in your head." Now, listen. I don't like men hitting women, right? But...
yeah, you're not judge and jury.
But you are not judge and jury. Your job is to detain and do whatever it is you do to interrogate. But you're not there to threaten people.
Yeah.
Like, that's not your job.
Yeah. There's literally steps to this.
And then he was, like the others, strapped to a chair for hours.
Gee, and why strapped to a chair? Just put them in a jail cell. What is this strapping it?
Well, because then, like, they can't pee, they can't move, and they all...
That's what I mean, but that's what I mean. Like, why?
I think just to torture them.
Exactly,
yes,
which is why it's so bad.
That's why you're not allowed to do it.
But, like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's crazy. A 4th person, CH, April 2020. CH was 17 years old at the time.
Oh, God.
This kid was arrested. He was apprehended for vandalizing his family's home. So basically, he had a fight with his family, and then he, like, kind of trashed the house in this fight, right?
Yeah.
So he's strapped to a chair for hours. There was a text exchange regarding this. Hill, how old is he? Deputy response, 17. Hill's response, chair.
Wow.
Yeah. GH, April 2020. This was over a payment dispute, strapped into a chair for hours.
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
WT, in May of 2020, he was driving 85 miles per hour with a suspended license. He was put into the restraint chair for 5 hours, and he urinated on himself several times.
Yeah, and let's be clear, too. It's whatever the crime is, they all committed a crime.
Right.
Okay.
But these are like misdemeanor crimes.
Yeah, but you also
except for the assault.
You arrest them and you put them in jail, and then they go see a judge. Like,
and
your job
is trial hearing. That's
to torture them. That's not what your job is. And from what I mean, maybe we get into it, but I'll add what I remember from this. But like he was out of control.
Yes, that's what they just said. Like, he just had, and he was like power hungry.
That's right.
You know, like, he's got this.
Yeah, and what adds to that is getting away with, like, all these things are happening on your side. He literally shot a woman in her abdomen.
Got away
and
with
got 12 months probation.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's untouchable.
Was he strapped into a chair?
No.
Did they strap him to a chair to find out what happened?
No.
Oh.
But I mean, this adds to like he's invincible. He can do whatever he wants.
It's his jail.
Yeah. He's
right?
getting away with
his jail, his chair, his, all the things.
Whew.
All right, so he's charged. He gets 7 charges of violating civil rights, and he's found guilty of 6 of the 7 charges. And according to the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Northern District of Georgia, their press release says that Hill was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison for his crimes, followed by 6 years of supervised release. During his supervised release, he is to have no role in law enforcement. So he's at least out for, the 18 months followed by 6 years. So he's, at least the next 7 or 10 or 8 years. I can't do math. And then he has 100 hours of community service that he has to do as well. Following the sentencing, U.S. Attorney Ryan Buchanan had this to say: without question, his actions not only hurt the victims, but eroded the public's trust in law enforcement. Hill brazenly abused his power and has been held accountable by a jury and a judge and will go to federal prison. Hill rejected one of the most basic tenets of law enforcement, that the U.S. Constitution forbids an officer, even a sheriff, from using unreasonable force. So Hill had this to say: everything that I did, I believe, was in the confines of the law. All right, so aftermath. According to an article from Alive, the article notes that Hill could potentially only serve 6 months. So in federal prison, there's no parole, right? You can't get paroled, but you can get out early for good behavior.
Okay.
So if he does all the right things, he might only be sitting in, and he's in federal prison, which is not like regular prison. A trial lawyer, Tom Church, explained that in that same article that, quote, traditionally in Georgia, you can't run for sheriff or any other civil office if you've been convicted of a crime that has moral turpitude, a felony of moral turpitude. So this may be the last time Hill ever serves as sheriff, but the article noted he could run for other offices at the federal level, but not the state level, right?
Oh my God,
and
come on.
The article also noted he is still very, very popular in Clayton County. So he could potentially try to run for something else.
Are you almost, because there was stuff that
No, there's a couple other things. There's a funny thing that I want to share.
Okay.
So Hill's lawyers filed an appeal to be allowed to remain free on bond, but that was denied. In 2022, Hill was divested of his certification as a peace officer standards and training. It's a post-certification, which is a certificate through the federal law enforcement training program. So they revoked that from him. And then ACLU filed lawsuits against Hill and the staff on behalf of the victims. So some points of interest. One thing I found wild, which is my favorite thing, and I took a screenshot of it, is this man, Victor Hill, posted on his Twitter in May 2023. He's in vacation clothes.
Oh God.
And he's boarding a private jet on his way to federal prison. He's like, on my way, and he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and shorts, and he's walking up the ramp on a private plane. Like, how is that for a big, like, FU to the justice system? I was like, what is this man doing?
He's dangerous. This guy's dangerous.
When he was running for office, he gave himself the name The Crime Fighter. And he used Batman imagery in his campaign because he's like, fighting for justice.
Oh my God.
And
what do you do to get this kind of way about
this ego? I don't know.
Oh God, I want it so badly.
And then after the governor suspended Hill, there was a change.org petition to have him reinstated. Like, people were like, I just don't get why folks are so committed to politicians who commit crimes like Trump, like Rick Scott, like all of these people. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, the thing about him, too, that I remember reading is that he was rough on people in the community, right? He would go in and it was like when there were parents complaining that he would rough up their teenagers. Like if they pulled them over or whatever, like he would physically rough people up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
There were a lot of parents who were freaking furious and kept saying like, why is this guy out here? And he was like, when he was a deputy, he was fucking mental. And then he becomes sheriff, and like, of course, this power trip of this guy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Lands him in federal prison.
Yeah.
Via private jet.
Via private jet. Maybe for 6. These people have been freaking yachts and private jet. How does he even have a private jet to take him to federal prison?
I don't know.
How do you make that happen? How much did he pay?
Or maybe somebody paid for him.
This,
maybe he has a donor, a donation person,
this
like
show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
a campaign contributor, maybe. Who knows?
You know he's going to run for something. This is a guy. He's not going to go away.
Oh God.
So,
well,
and that's all.
My favorite. One last thing about the bear.
Yes, chef.
Is when I'm going to write it down because I want it to be. I'm going to totally say that this should be the title of the episode. But I love it when they take that little thing that says, I love you, dude, let it rip.
Oh, let it rip.
I want Let It Rip to be the title of this episode.
Yes.
I fucking love that so much.
It's so good.
You know? Because also Mikey couldn't do this for himself until he just wanted his brother to like go for it.
Someone could have helped Mikey.
And have the courage for it. But you know, when you have a parent like that who's just bearing down on you, and even like in the Christmas episode, she's so fucking mean to Sugar, and like and then you flash to the last episode.
But
Sugar's
Sugar
like,
in that episode,
is Mom gonna show up? And I was like, fuck.
But Sugar in that episode, I'm like, just stop talking, Sugar.
No,
like,
yeah,
just
she couldn't.
Stop talking.
Well, she knows.
She's so
concerned about her mother.
I know, but she needed to stop talking.
I hear you. By the way, the other thing I was saying when I was watching it is like, why doesn't anybody just leave? Like, I would have been like, I'm good. Like, I don't need 7 fishes. I'm fucking out. Like, I would have just left.
And like, who cares if there's an extra damn fish? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, they all know that she's gonna lose her mind.
Oh my God.
And the thing I love about it too is like, you know, she's so crazy and she's there and she's trying to get everybody to help, and then she's like, get out of my way, and then nobody helps me. Like, oh my God,
Tina.
Lady. I know.
So familiar. So familiar. Also, the smoking while cooking is like, I was just out of my mind. The whole house smells like cigarettes. You realize that, right? You know the whole house smells like cigarettes, and she's cooking.
Yeah.
And she has those long red nails.
Oh my God.
And the fucking timers are all covered with sauce and shit.
Everything about
every
it is so
thought
good.
Out moment of chaos. It was just so beautiful.
So good.
And it all works somehow.
And then she puts the food out. Nobody can eat. She's not coming out. It's
yeah.
It's so passive aggressive.
Oh my God.
I need to watch that scene again, actually. I'm going to go back today. I'm going to watch it again because it's so good.
Oh my God.
So good.
Jamie Lee Curtis, she blew me away in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then all of a sudden she's in this, and I couldn't take it. I could not take how fucking brilliant she was in that movie. I mean, that TV show. Holy fuck. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I'd like to go back and watch it, but there's so much tension. Like, I have to like give it a little bit of more breathing room. You know what I mean?
So I'm watching this show on Netflix that I'm absolutely loving. It's all in Italian.
Oh my God! I knew it was gonna be the second I looked at her face.
Oh my God! So it's if you're like a murderino, it's a murder mystery but comedy. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's funny, but it's these two Italians that are like TV technicians.
Yeah.
And the one guy is like obsessed with like this crime show, and that's all he talks about. And then they end up like in the middle of a crime scene, and like they're kind of accused of it, and everything they try to do to like sort of distance themselves from it, like they pull themselves in, and it's got mafia, and it's like this sort of, I don't know, it's just sort of kind of slapstick. I just love it. It's called Framed. Mm-hmm. But you should look it up. I think you would like it. It's so stupid funny.
Yeah.
So that's what I watched last night, and I got through they're short. They're like 25-minute episodes, so I got through like 5 episodes. I watched. I binged like 5 of them.
Nice.
But yeah, it's cute. It's cute because everything's connected, and like it's really funny. All right. So you should check it out. Watch some Italian TV.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Why won't you do it? Just go do it.
I mean, come on.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
And it's so funny because like one of the guys is like a mamon, because like and he, his mom's got like
mamon.
He like wakes up and like she's like, oh here's the coffee, and like there's like a whole spread of food. Yeah. And then his brother-in-law, his wife is all like, no sugar, everything's healthy. Yeah. And it's like it's sort of like the opposite. It's really funny.
Oh my God.
Really cute.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.